Today I'll be talking about foraminotomy, a widening approach to the spinal canal. So I have divided my presentation into three parts. As we know, there has been a shift in application of the transforaminal endoscopy over the period of time. From indirect intradiscal decompression, we move to the fragmentotomy and the more visualized clearance. From treating the subparacentral disc, we move towards treating a central and migrated disc herniation, also addressing the bony pathologies like a foraminal stenosis. Over the period of time, we change our weaving angle from posterolateral to the more horizontal to get access to the epidural space. But sometimes there will be hindrance to the effective placement of the cannula and also the inside out approach due to the hypertrophic superior articular process, foraminal stenosis, high iliac crest, and due to the collapsed disc space. In such situation, we need to create a space for a working cannula and endoscope to pass. This we can do by widening the internal vertebral foramina by enlarging its boundaries by the foraminotomy, which is defined as widening the foramina by undercutting the ventral part of the SAP with ablation of the foraminal ligament. It helps surgeon to assess the epidural space and allowing the visualization of the hidden disc fragment and decompression of the foraminal and lateral recess stenosis. Foraminotomy allows transforaminal access to move more dorsally and maintain the safe distance from the exiting nerve root. It also gives more horizontal and the central access to the epidural space to address the central disc herniation. In case of lateral recess stenosis and the lateral recess syndrome, sometimes we do get a vertically oriented facet, and if you go through the posterior approach by any means, so you are damaging the facet and creating the instability. In such situation, transforaminal approach with foraminotomy will allow the widening of the lateral recess and addressing the pathology. Sometimes we do get the congenital and the acquired variation of the lateral recess. In such situation, if you go through the again posterior route, you are creating the instability, and in such situation, it is better to go through the transforaminal route. And if you are not knowing the art of foraminotomy while doing the transforaminal surgeries, you are just blindfolded walking on the heavy traffic road. Let me give this example of 43-year female with right-sided symptom. She was having a small disc. I thought I can easily do the lateral recess decompression by the inside out approach. This is the initial placement of the needle. I went ahead to the discography and then placement of the cannula, and this is what I done. So initial removal of the loose fragments, subannular decompression, and I thought if I gradually come out, I'll be able to have a half in half out view. Then I can cut the annulus and have the nice view of the decompressed lateral recess and can see the traversing nerve root. But to my surprise, I was not able to do so. This was because of this hypertrophic part of the superior articular process, which was not allowing instrument to go in actually. And as I was trying, I was going more anterior into the disc space rather than going into horizontally into the epidural space. So I came out little bit and started doing the foraminotomy. I always keep Trifine and the Kerrison punch in my transforaminal set. So this is how I do it. I started clearing some part of the bone so that my working cannula and scope can pass inside the foramina and the epidural space. After doing the Trifine work, I do fine work with the help of Kerrison punch, and now you can clearly see I am able to go inside the foramina. I am able to see the epidural flat, and now as I cut the ligamentum flavum, I have a traversing nerve root in clear view. Also, if you look at 3 o'clock, you can see the epidural flat around the exiting nerve root. So, to understand this, we have to know that your tip position of a spinal needle can guide you to decide about the foraminotomy. If you are too vertical, like if you are in the middle, hello. If you are in the middle pedicular line, you already reach inside the disc. In such situation, it's better to do the foraminotomy and keep these set instruments in your set so you can easily do the foraminotomy. So when should you be doing it? So we know that in case of foraminal and lateral recess pathology, approach angle is equal to the amount of bone needs to be removed, and foraminotomy is the best way to increase the foraminal area without causing the instability. In case of high grade, down migrate and the central disc herniation, foraminotomy allows you to have a nice access to the epidural space, but you have to avoid in the horizontally oriented facet. Also in cases of the collapse this space. You can see here at L3-4 level, there is a collapse this space and patient was having the lateral stenosis, more of ligamentum flavum pathology. So I did here the ventral fasciectomy, cleared the foramina, and now the traversing nerve root is nicely decompressed. Also in cases of the recurrent disc herniation, if you go through the posterior root, there is always a risk of the injuring the dura. So these cases can be managed nicely by doing the foraminotomy and going through the transforaminal approach. Also in case of a stable listhesis and adjacent segment disc herniation, where the patient's primary complaint is the radicular symptoms, especially in the geriatric patient, you can do the foraminotomy and it can serve as a rescue procedure as it avoids the fixation and need of extension of fixation in case of adjacent segment disc herniation. So how I do it? So we have a reamer, stripine and a drill as an option. I am more comfortable with reamer. So this is how I do it. I divide the vertical component of the SAP into 3 parts, and most of the time I do the foraminotomy in zone 1, and maybe sometime if the vertically oriented facet I can go to zone 2, but I avoid going into the zone 3, so to avoid the violation of the facet joint. So initial step is placement of the Tom CD, then putting a reamer, and then refining the foraminotomy with the help of the Kerrison punches and getting access to the epidural space. So this is a case example of 35-year-old female. She was having left lower limb pain. You can see that there is a extruded disc herniation, also the foraminal stenosis and overgrown SAP. So this is how I plan my procedure, undercutting of the SAP and getting access to the epidural space. So these are the initial marking along the disc space, then disc inclination angle in lateral, and I take my entry point of needle 1 to 1.5 centimeter away from the standard posterolateral entry, followed by the placement of the needle over the SAP. And once you place the guide wire, you have to place the Tom CD cannula, followed by the placement of the sharp Tom CD, and passing the sharp Tom CD till it passes the superior articular process, followed by changing the sharp Tom CD with the blunt Tom CD and pushing the blunt Tom CD into the epidural place. After that, I do the serial reaming with the number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and sometimes a 9 mm reamer, which allows you to pass your working cannula into the foramina and allows the easy access to the epidural space. So this is the final positioning. After that, this is a inside view. You can clearly see the rim part of the SAP, and in front there is a ligamentum flavum. This is I am demarcating the between the ligamentum flavum and bone, so I can clearly take out the ligamentum flavum nicely. You can see that some of the extruded disc fragments are already coming out. I'm too horizontal, not going inside the disc space as of now. So once I clear the small extruded disc fragment and take out the ligamentum flavum, I go little bit anterior to reach the axil of the nerve root, clear the hidden zone of maxillary so that I have nerve root completely in my view. After that, as I see the nerve root, I rotate the cannula, pass it little bit inside to address the loose fragment and small extruded disc herniation. Once I finish that, I can clearly see the epidural extruded disc fragment, and then again I pass my working sheet little bit inside to remove the final extruded disc fragment. You can see that finally extruded disc fragment are coming out, and this is a end point of the surgery, nicely decompressed dura, pulsatile traversing nerve root, and you can clearly appreciate fat moving along the exiting nerve root. Once you remove that, you can actually see the exiting nerve root in your view. So this is my take-home message to you. Well-planned and safely executed foraminotomy allows good decompression of the foraminal and lateral recess stenosis. Assess the need of foraminotomy based on the tip position of the spinal needle. Always keep necessary instrument for foraminotomy in a transforaminal set. Well-planned foraminotomy allows safe access to the epidural space and retrieval of the dorsally migrated disc herniated fragment. Thank you.